This is a young child, 4 year plus, who was brought to our OPD with a history of a penetrating injury via a nib of a pen in his classroom. Mind you, this injury had occurred more than a week ago, and the parents apparently took him to some local practitioners. And finally, on seeing the huge white reflex, brought him to our hospital. This young child, on examination, as you can see, there was a sealed corneal wound and there was some sphincter tear where the rupture apparently had happened, and we could not make out the edges of the tone capsule. However, there was a lot of swollen cortex, and on B scan, uh, it looked like the posterior capsule was intact. Anyway, we went ahead, posted him as an emergency under general anesthesia, and this is how the surgery panned out. So initially, we are we have posted him for a phacoemulsification procedure, and I'm going ahead with my 2.8 millimeter keratome incision, and now you can see how swollen the cortex is. It's almost touching the back of the cornea. And then I go ahead and place two side port incisions as well. Then under air, I am attempting to stain this whitish mass to try and make out some sense of the anterior capsular tears. However, I can only see a few tags staining, not exactly able to see or make any sense of where the tears are extending. Anyway, I go ahead and you can see one tag of the capsule there, and I am hydrating this cortex. I know this cortex will be easy to remove, should not be a problem. I'm just making it loose for my bimanual. These tags are not going to be a problem. I'm just going to pull them off. I don't think they're going to extend anywhere. This is almost more than 1 week old. So most of the tone edges will be fibrotic and they don't extend. And with my bimanual, I'm going ahead and aspirating all the white cortex. As you can see, there is some altered blood and some old exudative membranes as well. But by and large, it's pretty simple to aspirate this cortex. I am trying to clean up in the periphery as well. Just checking to see whether there is in fact a posterior capsule. I just put in some viscoelastic and then with a dialer I just check to see if the capsule is intact, as well as remove some of the adhesions. Just creating some space between within the sulcus, seeing that there are no adhesions that will hinder placement of the haptic later. Now, since this is a very young child, I need to do something about the posterior capsule as well, and I decide not to make a very large posterior capsular rhexis, but just a very small 1 to 2 mm posterior rhexis and do a anterior vitrectomy through it. And hopefully this will prevent a scaffold that will later on opacify, and if that happens, then I'll have to bring the child back once again under GA. And I'm trying to avoid this as much as possible. So here I've got the small posterior capsular rhexis tag going with my Euthyrata under sodium hyaluronate. and trying to make a very small exercise. I don't want it to be large because I really do not know where my anticapsular tears are extending to. It's a little difficult, but I manage. And there I've got the capsulotomy I wanted, and I go through that and do my first take a few bites and then go posteriorly through that posterior capsulotomy and do a bit of antiuretrectomy. I'm being a little judicious here. I want to take out at least a bit of the antiureterus. In the process, some blood and some altered blood also gets removed. I do not want to use Tricort in a child. Children usually are more prone to develop IOP rise with steroids. So as far as possible, I'm trying to avoid it. Once I've done my vitrectomy, I go ahead, put more HPMC and very, very carefully inject my 3-piece IOL. And with the help of Sinskey hooks, I slowly dilate into the sulcus and get it into position. Go ahead with my Simcoe cannula, remove the viscoelastic, put in a drop of atropine and conclude the surgery by putting in a drop of atropine and also injecting intracameral antibiotic and hydrating the wounds. Thank you for watching the video.